Hi, this is Kathi Quinn with Floriani. Floriani is a division of R&K Distributing, and I want to welcome you to this week's project of the week. I wanted to talk about some really nice features that sometimes we miss. We may have seen them, we may have heard about them, but we forget them if we don't use them. So I wanted to talk to you about how you can save stitches the way you want them. So if we come up to the top here, and notice I have a run stitch, I've got my satin path, my classic satin, my steel stitch, and here I have my complex fill, my applique, my applique stitch. So these icons right here are all about creating your own stuff. So let's look a little bit. Now with a run stitch, this is just a plain old run. Left mouse click, left mouse click, left mouse click, right mouse click. Now what this is, the default on this run, if you notice our properties box over here, a single run has a default stitch length of 2.5 millimeters. And that's really all I can do here. That is the only options I have to a plain old run stitch. So now let's look at this. Now I'm going to adjust this run. I'm going to say, you know what, I need a basting stitch. So I'm going to set this at 4 millimeters. Apply. So now this run stitch is a 4 millimeter run stitch. It's still a single run. Now notice I have a little drop down box here. Now I can say save this preset. So now it's asking me to name it. So I'm going to save this as Project of the Week Basting. Now with that preset saved, I'm going to say OK. So now anytime I want to create a basting stitch, all I need to do, I'm going to get a new piece of paper, is I can drop down, click on this little arrow here, drop down, and there's my Project of the Week Basting. Notice the minute I select that, what I had already preset is there. Now if I don't select any of them, of course it will be my default at 2.5 millimeter stitch length. Well, let's go a little further here. Now that I've got this, let's go ahead and create a stitch again. Left mouse click, left mouse click, left mouse click, left mouse click, right mouse click makes it happen. So now I have created a stitch, and there is my line right here. Now let's go ahead and change this a little bit. Let's come in here and say that I want this to be a double run. I want to do a little bit of detail with this, and I want this to have a 3 millimeter stitch length. So I'm going to apply. Now with that applied, I'm going to come up here, drop down my little box, and save this preset. And I'm going to save this as DR for double run stitch. OK. So now it's been saved, and notice it's here in my preset box. Now I can remove presets and I can add. Now you'll notice here I've got a 5-bean red work stitch. Now let's look at that. Let's go ahead and grab that. Now let me go ahead and left, 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 left. Now let's right and create that as a stitch. There it is. Now let's select this one. Now notice this has 3 repeats and it's a 4.0, a 4 millimeter stitch length. So you can create a series of stitches that you use if there's a certain stitch you like. If you'll notice right here in mine, I have Anita Good red work because he does 5 repeats at a 3.5 stitch length. So I like the way he does his red work. So I created myself a red work stitch. So anytime I create red work, I'm going to use this. So I don't have to change that preset every time, or change that stitch every time I create a stitch. I don't have to go in and tell it, okay, now I want you to be a bean. I want you to have 5 repeats. I want you to be a 3.5. I've already created that. And if you notice, you can do that with all of these stitches. They all have the ability to create these presets. Now let's look at our complex fill a little bit here. Now I'm going to select this. It's got a standard. Let's just create a shape. Of course, all I'm doing is a series of right and left mouse clicks. When I right mouse click, it's going to finish and close. Now let me show you. I should go back. I apologize. Let's go back a bit here. Let's just select this. Let me get a new piece of paper. When you create a complex fill, to start with, I'm going to go ahead and create my complex fill with a series of left mouse clicks. Now when I right mouse click, the first thing it's got put up here is the angle line. What is the angle that you want these stitches to follow? So you can set your angle. Now when I right mouse click, it's asking me, where do you want me to start stitching? Now it has recommended, you'll notice there's a little highlighted place here. This is where the program recommends, but you have full autonomy. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and right mouse click because I think the program knows what it's doing. Now it's asking me, where do you want to stop? Now it's asking me if I want to stop over here. Well, that's good with me. Now when I right mouse click, it has filled it with stitches. Now it has followed everything that I told it to do. It followed my angle, it started and stopped, it did everything. And I'm going to come down here and at the lower left hand corner, and I'm just going to go with Floriani Poly because I realized I had my thread chart selected and it was limited in colors. So now you can see this has been done. Now if I select this, and let's go ahead and change it. Let's go ahead and make this a motif fill. Okay, so I've got a motif fill and I can change the pattern size. Let me change the pattern size in here. And I could change the stitch length. I could go ahead and play around with this. Now I could come in here and save this. I'm going to save this preset and I'm going to call this 209 because that's the number of the motif fill, and I'm going to put flower centers. Let's say this, I like this for all the centers of my flowers that I create. And then I'm going to say OK. Now, how easy is this? Because now when I create, again, we're just as easy. We're going to come in here and I'm going to pick my flower centers. And notice it's gone to everything I had already selected. So now I'm creating my flower center. Series of left mouse clicks, right mouse click. What angle do I want my stitches at? Right mouse click. Where do I want it to start? That's perfect. And where would I like it to end? That is perfect. So now it has created that and I haven't had to do anything. It's saved all my presets. This makes it so easy and so fun to work with stitches. So go in there, when you find a combination you really like, go ahead and save it as a preset. Name it something you'll remember, but know that I like this, I liked how it stitched, I liked how it looked, and I want to make sure I use it at those settings again. So this is how we work with all of our presets here with all of our stitches. All of them can be done that way and you can have a lot of fun with these preset stitches. So go in, play, save some, get used to doing this. Then of course you can go in and reset any of them that you didn't want to keep. So if I came in here and I said I want to remove presets, it's asking me, do I want to remove this one? Now if I had several, of course it lets me pick which one I want. So let's come in here because I have several in my run. Let me go to remove preset. Now it's asking me which ones do you want to remove. Well, I want to remove the project of the week basting, and I could come in here and add, remove, play with it. But get in there and play with these things, work with them, because if you don't, you forget that setting is there, and it makes life so easy to be able to have these fun settings. So I hope you enjoyed looking at these and getting a little bit of understanding of our presets and how they work. Make sure you use them, make sure you play with them. I look forward to seeing you next week.